Welcome back. Okay, I'm proud of you. You came back for video 2. And if this is your first video, you missed something. So go back to 1, then come back to 2. So here it is. You've come here because you're like, hey, this woman's talking about activating my confidence 24/7. I'm feeling that. That's true. I got you. That does sound good. But pause for a second. Before I start getting into the teaching and allowing you to see exactly what it is that I do with my clients that has had them be able to do things that even they thought for a moment was impossible, we need to do something that's very critical. I want you to take your time. I want you to think. Matter of fact, just close your eyes for a second. What is it about you that has you here today? I know it. Do you know it? I mean, you have goals, you have dreams, you have ambitions. There are things that you want. You're the kind of person that you do invest in yourself, whether it's on a low degree or it's on a high degree. You're the kind of person who probably puts your radio station on and you listen to the motivational speakers. Maybe you pull them up on YouTube. You've bought plenty of self-help books. You bought into systems that people like myself talk about that we use or sell. You've done a lot of different things to accelerate your growth. But you're still at that point where it's like, why isn't anything working for me? I mean, it could be other things too. You've invested your time in the church. You've prayed. You've sought God. You've gotten into meditating, doing yoga. Maybe you've watched The Secret and you've read about the law of attraction. Maybe you listened to Abraham Hicks. The point is, I want you to understand I'm listing all of these different things because I know what it looks like to feel and know that it's your destiny to do more and to be more, but it feels like every single thing you do doesn't work. And that's enough to chip away at anybody's confidence. And so what ends up happening when that goes down like that, you can soar to a degree. And a lot of times you're able to do this because of all of the external pomp and circumstance. People telling you, yeah, you're great, you're awesome, you can do it. But when the going gets really tough and it's time for the tough to get going, sometimes you can lose your motivation. You can sell yourself short if you don't have the right amount of support. It goes back to that main theme that we talked about on the first video. You could find yourself second guessing you. Look, everything that you've looked at, it isn't a gimmick. It isn't a fraud. You know, Eric Thomas, he is that deal, okay? Some of these other mentors out there, they really do have your best interests at heart. What Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich is a reality. When the Bible says that, you know, if you have the faith of the mustard seed that says you could move a mountain if you just speak to it, those things really are true. So why is it then that it doesn't work for you? You have to experience a different realm of a mindset in order to be positive in spite of. People can't just tell you what to do. You can't just read a book. You can't just pick up something and figure these things out. And so what's happened with you guys is that what you've done is you've decided, oh yeah, for instance, I'm a brainiac. I love math. I'm going to college and I'm going straight to Calculus 3. And it's like, whoa, there's this thing called prerequisites, okay? You have to have college algebra. And if you're on that level, then you need pre-calculus. And even if you're really, really good and you did some of that type of work in high school, guess what? You still got to start at Calculus 1. So how does this relate to your mindset? With all of the challenges and all of the things that you've been through in your life, they've done some things to you. And some of you may think that you've gotten past that, but as soon as it matters the most, those little things come and they ignite triggers and your mindset changes and it messes with your confidence. So before you can learn about the system, this is what I do with my clients. I have to make them embrace who they are and what they've been through. No farmer says, oh yeah, I see some land, I'm going to go buy it, I'm going to plant a bunch of seeds, and then I'm going to reap this harvest, and I'm never going to have to worry about how I'll eat again. There's some pre-work that has to be done. The soil has to be disturbed. The rocks have to be taken out. The weeds have to be pulled up. And it's the same thing with your mindset. There is nothing wrong with you. There are just some things that have occurred that some people may have said, don't worry about it. Put it on the back burner, just get past it and think positive. One of the things that I do with people is primarily I say, come on, we got to get past your story. And you know, some of you, you're blessed and you're saying, hey, she's saying what she's saying is right, but it's really not that big of a deal. You live and you let go and move on. But for most of us, it doesn't work like that. The first thing you have to do is go ahead and dig deep and get into those areas of your life that you really don't like, and begin to look at what's happened to you and see how you've come through, and look at the situations and then change your perspective. See, a lot of you, you'll get going and you'll believe that you should have and you should do, but then you're also used to life throwing you a series of unexpected events, and you may begin to think that you're cursed. You'll go so far and then you'll wonder whether or not God is sending you signs saying that you're not supposed to do it. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe this thing wasn't meant for you. Maybe all of your relatives and your friends were right. You were crazy for thinking this thing. Wrong. No. If you were blessed to have an ideal, a concept, a mindset, to have whatever it is inside of you, it's in you because it's a part of you and it's for you. And what I like to do is I like to disturb the soil, and I like to tear up things and root it up for people, so that when you start planting your seeds, you can actually reap a harvest. And some of you, you're so busy planting seeds, you're so anxious to grow, you're so anxious to have some, you're just taking all the little seeds you got and you're just throwing them all over the place. They falling on the sidewalk. They can't even take root anywhere. They're getting scorched and burned up by the sun because you're so anxious to finally see something move. And so what I want to encourage you to do on this video is to take the time and say, you know what? I am where I am for a reason, and it's okay. And not only is it okay, but all of those little so-called painful or embarrassing memories, I want to address them because they aren't real. What they are illusions that are masquerading around, having the audacity to try to tell you what your destiny is. So I want you to take the time to realize that who you are and what you want to be and what you want to do, that is real and that is valid. I want you to take the time out to just really think about how far you've come, what you've made it through, and just how much that proves and validates how strong and magnificent you are. Meditate on those things and soak them in. I know a lot of you are thinking, okay, where is she going with this? Why, all this, psychoanalyzing or whatever. Look, there is a method to the madness. I want you to think about the client that I brought up on the first video. What kind of mindset do you think a woman with 6 kids and that was a single parent had? How much pushing and how much striving did someone like herself have to do in order just to survive? And then to try to be ambitious and go and pursue a degree? And then to be put in a position where she had to move in a hurry and where she wanted to settle and get whatever could come to her. I'm like, no, you're going to go for what you want / what you need. And then for her to walk that thing out and get it, you guys, that wasn't an easy journey. Could you imagine how at one point it's like, oh man, well maybe I should settle for less of a house. I mean, it's my fault at the end of the day. I'm the one who had all of these kids, put my life in this situation. Maybe I need to just be humble for a little bit longer, August, etc., etc., etc. So I need you to understand. I need you to think about your life. I need you to reflect, because Part of what I had to do with this woman was make her go back and say, okay, fine. How many baby daddies do you have? How long have you been doing this thing? How promiscuous were you when you were young? And what in the world does that have to do with anything? Because in spite of all of that, didn't you do X, Y, and Z? And didn't you overcome A, B, and C? And so on and so forth. The same things that she was looking at to identify herself as a tragedy, I helped her identify how she was an overcomer. And it's not something that it's that easy for you to just do it to yourself, because if it was, you would have already done it. Haven't you heard the phrase, you're your own worst critic? So when I say take the time to think about who you are, I'm saying that because when we go through the exercise tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to pick just one event in particular. And I want you to take that time frame in your life and we're going to analyze it. Because like I said, I want to take you through the entire process. So what I want you to really think about is, I want you to think about something that you overcame. I don't care why you were in the situation. Maybe you made a bad decision and that's why you ended up being in a bad place in the first place. Maybe you were in a decent place and you set a goal and it seemed a little impossible, but you actually did achieve it. Positive or negative, I don't even care. But what I want you to do is just think about a time that you set a goal to change something in your life and you actually got through it. So it could have been having a child at a young age and saying, I'm going to be a good mom. It could have been being homeless and saying, I'm going to find a place to live. Making a mistake and kind of crapping over college and then going back years later to get your degree. Those events in your life are monumentous when it comes to defining your excellence. But you need to be taught how to deconstruct everything that you've went through so that it can be rebuilt back up and it can be used from a positive perspective. So I'm asking you guys to trust me. I know that I have you doing something that's completely different than what most people do when they invite you to participate in webinars and training, and they promise you success and motivation and all of those things. Look, I believe in getting to the root of things. Individuals that follow me and that work with me, they know I'm no holds barred, I'm raw, and I'm real. That's the only way you're going to grow. That's the only way you're going to make it to the next level. So when you leave this video and you get some time to sit down by yourself and analyze your life, pick one event, just one. I don't need you to have 2, 3, 4, 5, just one event in which you set a goal and you accomplished it against the odds. And we will use that circumstance in my system when we look at the next video so that we can begin to redefine who you are, and I'll show you how just reanalyzing your life can reactivate your confidence. So it's always good to speak with you all. I'll see you on video 3. You all have a great day.